just wondering what your feelings were. Obviously, you had so much, bad luck over the years, and then to be running on to start on Saturday and for it to kind of come unstuck with that injury so soon.
Yeah, looking back on it, I was pleased with how the 27 odd minutes I was on the pitch went. So I was going to take that, solace in that. But it's just rugby, isn't it? It's been unlucky at times. I was very disappointed at the time, but things have resolved themselves pretty well. So hopefully looking all right for this week.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad coming off. So what is the story?
It was a nerve that hit that nerve, and the ulnar nerve, if we're being specific. But I hit that, and it just felt as if my arm went completely dead, and my forearm was in a lot of pain. But it's cleared up pretty well. My hand's still getting full function back, but it's getting there. It's getting there.
So, like you said, though, you were playing well, obviously, before that happened. So we're looking forward to going again, take two.
Yeah, definitely. Be the first time I've ever played two consecutive weeks for Ireland in a row, and I think it's something I've always done well at provincial level, is play week in, week out quite well and get better as I go on. So hopefully that's the case here.
And when it happened initially on the pitch, was the party just going, oh my God, here we go? Because you'd waited so long to get back into the team.
Yeah, straight at the time, I thought I broke my forearm at the time, so I was pretty worried about that. And then when I'm going off, I was just thinking, I'd waited 6.5 years to play another tier 1 team. Not that playing the other teams wasn't big, but it's nice to show yourself against a world class team like South Africa. So yeah, I was disappointed, but looking back on it, the positives where I played quite well, was on, and it hasn't seemed to be as bad as I first thought with the injury.
And then the flip side, when you found out or realised that it actually probably wasn't as serious as you thought, the wave of relief you probably had there? I thought when you think you've broken your arm, you're probably thinking, 12 weeks, more than that. So, just relief that I could get back playing again. I didn't think it would come back this quickly, but it's resolved itself pretty well. And then just lastly for me, you said as well, you thought you were doing well enough for those first 27, 28 minutes. Where did you think you were excelling? Most of it was spent defending. South Africa started pretty well. I suppose some of the tackle stuff, some of the breakdown stuff was pretty good at the start. I just wish I could have stayed on longer and maybe done a wee bit more going forward.
How did you find the week leading up to the Springboks game? When you've had to wait, I suppose, so long to get another opportunity, is it difficult to not put too much pressure on yourself?
I suppose it was different in a way. I thought Robbie obviously pulled out late with the hamstring, so I thought I was on the bench, so I thought there wasn't as much pressure in that. And then when Robbie pulled out, I suppose I just read, I've been here so often, it's not as if it's my first time in camp, and I'm 30 years of age now. I've played a lot of rugby, it's not as nervous anymore, just mainly go out and show what I can do, not let the moment sort of get over you, isn't it? It's just play my own game.
You're obviously in a particularly competitive part of the pitch. What's your sense of, I suppose, what you have to do to kind of close the gap on the guys who tend to get capped ahead of you?
In my opinion, I don't think there's not as much of a gap. It's the guys in there doing so well. When Bundy's played, he's been very good. When Robbie's played 12, he's been very good. And I suppose, why would you change a winning team? That's the way I look at it. I think I've played at that level, same sort of level as them club-wise for a long time. It's waiting for your opportunity to get in there and play for Ireland. I always think if I was Andy, why would I change the team unless I was leaps and bounds ahead of those guys, and those two were probably two of the best 3-12s in the world for the best part of 5-6 years. So listen, I don't think it was lots better than them, but I think it's quite an even battle between all three of us.
Stuart, there seems to be a very positive environment within the squad, and when we talked to the lads the last few weeks or so, they keep bringing that up. And just as you mentioned it there, when you're not on or you're looking to make that place, you're saying, why would you change a winning team? So I suppose you need to have that attitude. Do you feel that for the whole squad?
I think it's a very competitive environment without being sort of ratty and having to go at each other in terms of doing things that wouldn't help the team. I think that's what Andy's built anyway. I can only speak for myself in terms of I always want the guys to go out there. I always want to prepare them well when I wasn't playing, and I felt the same from Bundy when he's been in camp this week, and Robbie as well, helping me out. So I think everybody's competitive and wants to play, but no one wants to sort of do each other in and not help each other, if you know what I mean.
And how do you find training with so many players? Because there's obviously about 49 players or something like that with the A team as well. How do you find that?
Yeah, last week was interesting. There's a lot of boys swapping in and out, and it was nice. Training wasn't as hard. You didn't have to do as much. There was a few boys repping in and out. This week's been a lot different. There's been a few niggles, and we've just got about 32, 33 guys training. So yeah, it's different in ways, but it's nice. It's nice to get back in and do the whole training session.
And the South Africa game, just how physical was it out there compared to other games you played?
Again, it wasn't on for that long, but yeah, it was fairly physical at the start. I suppose that's what South Africa bring, isn't it? They bring that line speed, getting off line, making big hits, and they showed that all game. Like, they stuck in the fight. They obviously scored that try late to bring it a bit closer, but yeah, they were very aggressive, both attack and defence.
Stuart, did you feel that you kind of proved a little bit of a point to Andy, that you had 27 minutes, as you said, but it was a really strong 27 minutes. You were one of the standout players, and that, as you said, your age now, going into the World Cup year, all these things come together, that you should be in the pool of the first few players to be selected in that position?
I don't know about proving a point. I just, for me, it was always the thing I wanted to get back here. Like, I could have left years ago and not worried about playing for Ireland, but I always wanted to get back here and sort of not prove to Andy, but prove to everybody that I can do it at this level. It's more a personal thing than proving to anybody else. Listen, I'd love to be in the World Cup and reckoning for the World Cup, but there's a long time between now and then. I just want to play. Just love to play a few more games in the next year leading up to the World Cup, and obviously play 80 minutes would be great.
And listen, do you get much time with Andy on your own as you're going around? Because there is so many players in camp, but you know, like, on a personal review, does Mo have a few words with you, kind of go through the game and what you did right and what he wants more from you?
Not so much the game this week, but there's been times over the last few years, yeah, I've talked over like what you could do. I could do better playing wise. Sometimes it's not a lot. It's just going with someone else. Like, that's just what the coach feels, and that's sort of what I was pointing out earlier. Like, I don't think there's a great deal between the three 12s. There really is, but sometimes it's just a gut feel for a coach and who he wants to select. But yeah, if you want to talk to any coaches, you can always go and approach them about what could have done better in the game and stuff.
Do you feel, despite a little bit of an injury, that you've a bit of momentum going into this game? You'd love to start again and kind of pick up where you left off?
Yeah, 100%. As long as his hand resolves itself pretty well, which I think it will. I'd love to keep on playing on. Like, it's something, I know it's only provincially, but over the years I think I've done very well is bounce from game to game and play a lot of rugby. It's always seemed to work for me when I played 3 or 4 games in a row, not just in and out one game here and there.
Can you tell us a bit about what Tyke's been like leading the team as captain this week?
He's tagged normally, he's just being himself. He's a good lad, he speaks really well in front of the guys. No, he's just being himself. He hasn't overly tried hard to be anything different than he normally is.